This is Andre Banks from my brother Damian Banks from Banks Credit Chat. And today we're going to kind of go over the basics. And what I mean by the basics, we're going to talk about what makes up an actual credit score and how to get a credit score based on what you should focus your attention on. All right, from the gate, I'm going to kind of spearhead this one, and my brother's going to chime in with different things and add to it. So, for the first part, the biggest thing you can do to increase your credit score, this is with the assumption that you actually have a credit card or some form of way of any credit card to begin with. The biggest chunk comes into what you do on a monthly basis. And what I mean here is that 35% of your credit score is based on just doing the right things every month. Paying your bills on time, preferably maybe a couple of days before that time, and making sure you constantly do that. That's the largest chunk of your credit score. So actually it's about 35%. The second chunk is the amounts of debts that you owe. So when I'm here explaining about amounts that you owe, many people think that they have a number of different credit cards. How much are you close to that balance of what is actually owed? So let's the credit card has $2,000 and you're near the $2,000 limit, your credit score is going to be affected by that dramatically. So your goal is to kind of keep that down to roughly 30% on each and every card. So back again, what makes up the second largest chunk of your credit score is the amounts that's owed, how much you owe as a total in terms of your debt picture. The next one, another 15% chunk, comes from how long have you had the credit cards or any debt instrument. I use debt instrument because it could be not just a credit card. It could be car payment. It could be mortgage. Good job, right there. An installment loan. Student loans play a little bit. We'll have to go into that another time. Student loans is a different kind of animal because the way it reports, they really try to give you the benefit of the doubt. They'll let you go to 9 or 10 months without even making a payment where it really starts impacting your credit score. So that's another whole other animal. We're not going to get into that right now. Maybe we might do another video just on that. But 15% of your score is based on the length of how long you've had those credit and debt instruments. And we just went through a couple there. 10% of the score makes up any new credit, any new amounts of debt that you might have. If you're taking on new credit, that 10% of that score is you can open up new accounts, but be mindful of that because again, it's only 10% of which makes up your total credit score. Finally, the last 10% is the types of credit used. You want to have variety here. So instead of just having all store cards, you want to have a store card, just using it as a basis. We did a whole video about why it's not good just to have a store card as your primary focus. But let's just use this for example. Have a store card here. You have a regular Visa account that you can utilize for other credit. You have a car payment. You have a mortgage payment. You have an installment loan. Now you have a bit of variety here, and that makes up 10%. Finally. So let's go through those numbers one more time again. 35%, and this is where you should pay most of your attention in, is just doing the right things and paying the bills, paying your credit card payments, or any debt instrument that you have on time, preferably before time. Another 30% is how much you owe as a total picture for your particular credit history. So, as I mentioned before, you want to get that down to less than 30%, 35% I should say. You're trying to keep it at that amount. You can go a little higher, but your goal is to get the amount of debt on each one of your accounts to be roughly that. 15% is the left from credit history, and it's how long if you had the debt. You want to build a history, so you want to have the longer the time, the better. Some people if you have something for 5 to 10 years, it really shows, and you've done the right thing. It really shows that you're a good credit candidate, and that makes up 15% of what you're based on the credit history there. 10% is based on any new debt that you might take on, and finally, the last 10% is the variety and types of credit that you use. So if you add all those two together, 35, 30, 15, 10, and 10, that gives you 100%. This is just the basics there, and kind of went through them pretty quickly, but want to make sure you got that understanding. Focus your attention on doing the right thing. Focus your attention on the largest chunk, the 35%. All the other items will start falling into place. Anything else you want to add to that, bro?
You broke that down well. I think that you couldn't have said it better.
As we always go until our next video, subscribe, leave some comments. We're out.